Welcome everyone on today's Metal3 Community meeting. Today is 5th of February 2025. My name is Adam Rosman and I will be your host today. Today, I think we can skip the introductions and continue with the reminder. As usual, please remember that the meeting is recorded. You can find the recording on the official YouTube channel of Metal3. If you would like to help the project, then please filter for the help wanted or good first issue label via the GitHub issue filter function, and then you will find at the moment 67 open issues where we are waiting for new contributors or someone to help with those issues. If you think that your organization is willing to uh, publicly acknowledge that you are using Metal3, then became an official adopter, you can do that by pushing a pull request to the community repository and editing the adopters.md file in the root of the repository, the same way as others have done before. If you experience issues related to your tests, automatically executed or manually executed tests on the pull requests that you have created, and you think that the problem is not related to your pull request, rather it's some failure of the CI, then please create an issue in the relevant repository and link that issue to the Metal3 CI tracker project. And you can do it on the right side of the issue UI. Okay, related to the incubation proposal, let's quickly check if there was any official movement or update. I have not checked today. No, there was nothing. So last update was 3 weeks ago. I also have not heard any additional news related to this. So we are still well in the due diligence process and it's continuing. And yeah, feel free to check out all the other links for the artifacts and statistics and so on. Let's continue with the community working group updates. And the first one is the Ionic Scalability group. And I see that, Dimitri, you have some topics there.
Yeah, I don't have a lot really. I was on vacation for 2 weeks and haven't done much. My focus in this area will be on various CI-related efforts. Some of you have seen my patches around running Ironic standalone operator in Ironic image CI, for example. Thank you, Tomo, for reviews. Please see my response about ideas for a better job name. I'm a bit clueless in this area. But back to scalability questions. I will get to the actual HA work eventually, I hope. But if you get volunteers to work on that so that I can direct them, we can do that much faster because I also have other priorities to tend to. And the CI work stays high in my priority list anyway. That's all I have.
Thank you very much, and thank you. It always feels like a Herculean work you are doing, pushing this so alone. I'm a bit sad that I could not join you with this, but I am also swamped. But anyone who is listening or watching later on YouTube, please feel free to join in the IRSO. I think it's a great opportunity for new contributors or those who are new to the project, because the IRSO automates the how to say, the lowest level management, the deployment of those management components. And so if you just learn that or start learning that, you can already start contributing. You don't really need to know much about the other components, to be honest. I feel like, at least that's a good entry point for newcomers. Yeah, anyone, any question, comment related to this one? Okay, if not, then thanks. Let's continue. So release team and roadmap. So I already, I think, pasted this, yeah, last week also. Last week there were only two of us with Kashif, So we just quickly went through the topics and did the triaging and carried over everything. So from now, a new thing is that the release team members and their GitHub bios will be linked in the agenda, so you always know who to ask and who to ping if you have release related questions. And then this is also new things. Folks started doing it already with 1.9 and maybe even before. And feel free to criticize this and comment that what could be done better or what else should we add. But there is now this release skeleton or skeletal template that we use to track what has to be done in order to do like a full release cycle. And release cycles are basically defined by CAPM3 releases so far. But feel free to check this and discuss this. Uh, let's see how we can do it better. And other than that, there have been minor releases. I forgot to put it here, so maybe if someone has time, please feel free to add here. I think there was a minor for one of the components. I don't remember which one. Uh, yeah, but that's all for the release team and the roadmap. I think there was nothing else for the roadmap either. We will do backlog maintenance anyhow, so we will check. Is there any question, comment? Or...
Yep. So, although it is not listed here, we did IPAM and CAPM3 patch releases, which could be listed here.
Okay. What was the patch version? 191, right? For both.
CAPM3 is still not out, I guess. I can see the draft release notes. Maybe I
but the changelog is merged, so it is just waiting some final touches, I guess, but it's done.
Okay, I wrote them down. Okay, any other question related to general release team roadmap topics?
Actually, there is. It's related to your work of moving the Keep Alive D out of BMO. So that means that the Keep Alive D needs its own release workflow.
Yep.
And since we had the new automation in place for BMO, I see you copied that over, but that workflow then forces release branches and stuff, which we probably don't want to have for Keep Alive because it really doesn't get so many changes that we would want to maintain branches.
Yep. Yeah, makes sense. Then let's do it in a way that let's continue to the discussion topics because that's the next discussion topic. And let's kind of paint some general picture for everyone. So there are two issues, like GitHub issues, and they are interlinked. The original I started working on was this configuring or adding support for custom configuration directory. So that all the files that basically config files that we are rendering or env substituting or doing something with them, but we don't place them on the shared or in the out directories. Rather, we just put them on the file system. That way of running the Ironic pod is not compliant with this read-only file system security context of a pod. So if someone wants to deploy Ironic pod this way, then they can do it right now. So what I was proposing under this one, this issue, is to give the ability to user to specify a custom path, a custom directory, and then these config files would land under this custom directory. I already did the changes, and I have not seen any blockers yet for any of these. But this whole topic also touches keep alive D, and then keep alive D, what Tuomo mentioned, that has a separate issue because we agreed with the community many weeks or even months before that when the 1.9 CAPM3 or 0.9 BMO is released, after that we will remove the keep alive the container from the BMO project. And now I've done that. That has a pull request, and this is what we are discussing. So this is half of this read-only support. So this pull request, this move here, move to utility images from BMO has the modifications to make the keep alive the read-only file system compatible. Plus, it moves it to this repository. And then, while Tuomo was reviewing it, he mentioned that the original release automation that I copied over from the BMO is a bit too much for this utility images repo. And it's also the whole release process for this repository is a completely new concept. So we have not released anything from here before, so it's a greenfield. So I agree actually with Tuomo that I don't think we actually need in the enforcement of branches or branching out. From my part, as far as I see, I'm completely fine with just tagging and releasing based on the tag and creating a container. That's fine for me at least. What do you think? Well, I will try to find the release automation script also, and this somehow show it in a better way. I can just show it like this. So, any opinions or questions or?
Don't have any hard opinions. I honestly found keep alive D living in BMO very confusing, and I spend a lot of time looking for it every time I need to see this container image.
Maybe one further comment is that you said that you also changed it while moving.
Yes.
To support read-only. That is a bad practice. In my opinion, it would be much cleaner if you did it in a separate one. Then we could easily review the read-only changes.
Okay, I can separately do the read-only to the BMO repo, so that's fine. And then merge it there, and then merge the move script. That's fine.
Yeah, or the other way around. Just we could keep alive the out and make that separate.
Okay.
Whichever is the priority. But I guess we have an agreement that we will do, or probably just make the automation do this lightweight releases. Maybe we will still do the changelog automation, but just ignore the branches. And also, what will the initial version be?
Yeah, that's a good question. I commented that also that we have to. I think we should separate it from the BMO versioning scheme completely. So it should have a completely new versioning scheme or start from a new version number.
Maybe we can, because it hasn't seen any changes in years, maybe 1.5 years at least. Maybe we can be brave and call it 1.0, because I don't think it makes sense to start with anything older than what it already has when it is numbered with BMO.
Yep, I'm fine with it. Because we have to use semantic versioning, we don't really have that much room to move. We either start again from 0.1 or go and do 1.0. I don't really see anything other than these two options realistic. So yeah, we can do that. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, and the 0.1 doesn't make any sense because we already have a 0.9.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks.
So we can only move forward. Yeah, 1.0 sounds okay. Okay.
So that covers the releasing part, but I think I already saw a comment from Dimitri on the implementation. Something like,
Yeah, if you're talking about the non-writable roots effort, I'm just curious if you have serious reasons of not just doing it eventually by default, rather than having it opt-in, simply because it's possibly in case of ironic image, probably not keep alive deep, but in case of ironic image, it can be a pretty high maintenance burden to have two options, and we need to figure out how we cover both tests and how we don't regress. And do we have reasons not to just say we are going to do that eventually, maybe over the course of several releases when we deprecate things and, tell people to change things around?
No, I just didn't. My plan was that introduce this first as an option, and then community can decide if it stays an option or they want it as a default. As far as I can see, like there were two different approaches we were discussing. One is that we define a place for each of these config files, like because there is also a discussion that some of them are in weird places, that like in the root of etc, which we got comments from our downstream that that's kind of weird, and people who are more like used to well organized Linux file systems, they kind of not looking for config files in those places, but regardless, that's just a comment. So one approach was to find a acceptable default location and then make those mountable, like so that if there are like 6 of the config files, there would be 6 mounts potentially if they are in different places. So you would mount all of them separately, and then there was the other approach that I started implementing, was that if it's possible to specify one common config directory for each of these config files, then we would just specify this common path, and then under that in separate subdirectories we would place these, and then you would just have them in one mount basically. And that's what I started to do. If you think that this second approach, so using this one mount for the configs, we would have a config mount, and everyone would need to use that config mount, and that would be the default. I'm fine with that. Like, I have no strong opinions other than I was planning to bring it in gradually to not disturb anyone. But I'm fine if that becomes the default faster.
Yeah, I throw my weight behind making it the default simply because I don't want to have two different ways Ironic image operate. I'd be also curious to maybe have a more detailed write-up. I'm not saying necessarily Metal3 docs design, but something along the similar lines where we discuss what we are going to do, because both options you say, they make sense to me, but I'm also curious how it's going to work in the Ironic image, given that many of these configuration files contain information detected in runtime, for example, like IP addresses. And generally, the reason why we don't do already what you describe is mostly because we discover networking on fly in Ironic image. And it's also is affected by keep alive D, so it's not even we don't even know networking in advance all that well. So it's a bit messy in this area. I'll be curious how you're planning to handle that.
Yeah, the keep alive div one you can already check. I don't plan to add additional changes to the keep alive div one for this networking or anything. I think what I've put there should work. I'm still building the test environment for this or putting it together. But I went through all of the places where I was able to find these configs, and I have not really seen anything that could not be handled. Yes, we set up a lot of things in runtime and we do a lot of rendering, but I think in most cases the output of the renders can be just redirected to these places, and we can just tell to the services to load them from that place. I really haven't seen anything that would be a blocker so far. So let's see.
Okay, so you still want to write this configuration file, so just don't want as a root.
Yeah.
Right.
So writing to the mount is fine. So because we anyway write to the /share, the /out, and then we would have a third like /conf or whatever the user specifies. I left it for the user to define.
Right. Okay, so I confused what you proposed with what Leonard proposed half a year ago, maybe, when he wanted Ironic image to, like most containers in Ironic image, to stop writing things to configuration files and have maybe some init containers that actually configure stuff. So this two crossed in my head, and I assumed your proposal assumes that, which is wrong. Okay, just please make sure you don't step on Leonard's shoes, because I think his idea is also pretty interesting and really good to have that.
Yeah. I think for Ironic it's doable. I mean, you have the Oslo config and the environment variables, like we can set up everything. There I am not sure about the keep alive div, for example, and the DNS mask. Those two are more finicky. But yes, I won't have any conflict with Leonard's proposal.
Yeah, I guess I think one of the suggestions was that one of the init containers writes everything, and then when the init container is done, the rest of the pod starts assuming everything is read-only, including config files. I don't suggest you implement that. Just please don't make it impossible, because I think it's a solid idea.
Yeah. So fun fact, our downstream actually did it. They ended up with two init containers, one for keep alive and one for Ironic. So it's certainly doable, like they have done it. They said they don't like it. It was cumbersome, so that's why we pivoted into this one. But
Sorry, but what they are doing, they are just copying the files with the init containers to places where they can be written. They are not doing what Lennart is doing. They're doing just like a workaround to get the read-only to work without our support.
yeah, I mean, we can have like we can sanction an init container, an additional init container to do this. I'm just saying that that's doable. Like there are no problems with it. They did very similar thing, and when we would implement that, that would be also very similar to what they did, because we need to provide, at least according to my current knowledge, some config files anyhow. We cannot just provide environment variables or command line arguments for everything, because we have quite a lot of different services or processes. But anyhow, if you say that that's something that you would like to see, we can also talk with, or I can also talk with Leonard, and we can discuss if we should go into that direction. That's also fine. If you see that as a better option in the long term.
Well, I don't think these two are necessarily mutually exclusive, what you're doing and what Leonard proposed. I just really would like this conversation to happen so that we have one vision of where this is moving rather than, Leonard planning one thing and you're doing something that is kind of similar, but not really, if you see what I mean.
Yeah, okay. I will sync with him. I will sync with him probably tomorrow, and we will talk through these two different approaches. We might come up with something.
Yep, great, thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Any other questions, comments? Okay.
I think it would be good to summarize this here as a point that in general we agree that this is doable, but just that how we are going to solve it is something that we are going to decide probably on the PR itself.
Okay. I can put it there. 1 second. I will put there Leonard's one also. Okay. Let me check the chat messages. See, there is one. Okay. Dimitri had to drop. So I will put here Leonard's proposal, and yeah, based on Dimitri's explanation, these are not mutually exclusive. So I don't think there's any issue. So as far as I understand, there is no objection. But we have to check if how can we synchronize this to one. Yep, that's fine. Okay. Is it okay, Kashif? Or should I
Yeah,
add something?
that's fine. Yes, I actually also like the idea that probably we need to do it so that we first introduce the option to do that and then gradually deprecate and make it a default, like replicate the old way and then make this new way the default way. So, but I think we can do that. Maybe discuss that over the PR as well.
Yep, certainly. I'm just checking if I wrote up Tomo's release topics. Yeah, I commented it. Okay, then let's continue. I think there are no other discussion topics. Then we can go to do the backlog and milestone maintenance. I will just quickly go through these. And we already discussed 2 patch releases that happened. I will skip IRSO. IRSO it will just pick up right now, but there was no development in the last 2 weeks. So let's quickly go through IPAM. 11 has nothing. All these are closed. Okay, IPAM is fine. And of course, as always, feel free to mention if you would like to add anything to any of the milestones, or ask if you should add any topic to any milestones, like because there is no point going through all the tickets we have and deciding which milestone they belong to. Only if you have preferences. Okay, 110 and 111, fine. 110 and BMO has something still in 09. I saw and 2 bumps. That's fine. Those are backports. And then 10 has the issues. Yes. 28 and 29. That's okay. 28 will land soon also. We discussed it 2 weeks ago. And that's it. So I don't see any anomalies in the backlog. And I don't think we have to check anything else here. Yeah, I asked these questions. Yeah, and I also showed this big release tracker issue. Okay, is there any other question, comment, or anything we should discuss? I think on last let's also mention this. I will bring these again because we discussed this last week, but there were not almost no one present, so I will add this also to this week. So we will have a booth in London on the KubeCon EU, and we will also have a lightning talk. So folks who travel to the event can visit the MetaCube booth. We don't know yet which day, or at least I don't know which day. But as soon as I will have all the details, I will send an email and notify the community. And then the other very important thing is that I think 13th is next week. Yeah, on next week, Thursday, we will have the team meetup, and I have already sent out the email with all the information and with the team meetup agenda also. And we can also check this. So this is the agenda document, and you can already find the newest or the latest event and all the agenda points, and also place to propose new agenda points. So it's all there. Feel free to comment under the main agenda points or propose additional ones. I also wrote down in the email that what's the process related to proposing the new ones, or what will happen if you propose. Okay, that's all. Any question, comment? Okay, if nothing, then thanks for your time, and thank you for attending the meeting. And let's meet next week. And I think it will be only the MTM. I will send an email and that we should not have the community meeting. I don't think there is any benefit of having a community meeting just before the MTM. I would rather have people focus on the MTM. Yep. Thank you all. Have a nice rest of the week. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.